How's it going, my fellow Phoenix Feathers? Sorry, it's been a minute since my last video, but I got sick right after making that first video, which to me was my sign that I was doing something right. So I was very happy about that, very upset at the same time, just because, it's very difficult to make a video or even want to make a video when you are, you know, have copious amounts of snot coming out of your face, and it doesn't sound very beautiful on film. So I wanted to make sure I was at least in good talking condition, not sniffling and all that fun stuff. Moving forward, as you can see, right in front of you, our little caption for today is the power of no. A lot of times when we hear no, or when we think about, saying the word no, a lot of times we think about it as an external force. We say it to somebody else, or we say it almost to a situation, and then, we just allow it to run its course. But this particular situation, I'm talking about no in reference to one's self, how the power of those two letters right there can really change a person for the better. And that's what I really want to focus on this time around. So for me, the power of no, for me, was a big life changer, just because I was kind of heavy growing up, and I had a lot of bad habits that I wouldn't necessarily say didn't like, but I didn't really know how to change them as they were. So I just kind of left them as is. And as I got older, growing from adolescence to becoming a teenager becoming a young man, life starts to throw you little hints that maybe some things you are doing, or maybe even are not doing, are not complementing your character to the best of your ability as it could. So for me, I had to learn to tell myself no, before I could expect it to have a power and authority and ability over others, as far as, controlling the direction of a particular situation. So perfect example for me, I love eating. Love it. I love it beyond words. You give me delicious food. I wouldn't even say it's so much the flavor all the time. I'm a texture eater. I love good texture. I love especially like cake or like noodles or something. It's just got a soft, warm, almost melt in your mouth type of texture. It's amazing. But for me, eating has always been a bad habit because of how I ate and what I ate. Obviously, eating in and of itself is good, and you should always eat. It gives your body nutrients, the things it needs to live. But for me, I ate in excess, and I took pride in that for a while. And it kind of began to define me over time. Obviously, the more you eat, the bigger you get, and people will start to let you know that there's some changes going on physically that maybe you should look into. So for me, right around the time I hit about, I want to say 9 or so, I went through puberty, and it boom, it was rough. But that's when I really started noticing my body changing for the worse. And I started noticing weight in areas I didn't want it to be, but I didn't understand that I had to fully invest in myself to stop myself from going beyond that point. I was waiting for somebody to tell me, oh, no, you shouldn't eat this, or somebody to oversee my eating and put me in my place and keep me in line, when that's, in all honesty, that's not always how it works. You don't always have the luxury of having somebody there with you for support in that particular situation, to help you forge a new path of habit, really, because that's all it came down to, with habit. And so, as time went on and I started feeling now the results of my weight as opposed to just seeing them, it then, clicked in my brain. It was like, okay, we need to do something, but what do we do? And in my previous video, I talked about how I recently started going to the gym. Recent for me it's been about like 2.5, maybe 3 years now. So that's recent. But for me, it was talked about it, never did it. And so the problem never got corrected. It was, okay, well, I'll try and cut down my portions, or I, won't eat as much food. But we all know that without proper diet and exercise in one's daily routine, that it doesn't matter how well you're eating, your body's still gonna, it's not going to put those vitamins and nutrients, and actually you have good fat. It's not going to put those in the areas where they're needed, or it's not going to sculpt your body in the way you want. It's just going to sit there and turn to fat and sit there and never go anywhere, because an object that is not in motion is just not in motion. An object in motion usually tends to stay in motion. So when I had to learn to tell myself no, that was really difficult, because a lot of times we're being told no from so many external sources, when we have the ability to tell ourselves yes, and we have the ability to let ourselves do whatever it is that we want to do at that particular moment, which is more impulsive than anything. We'll jump on the bandwagon. It's like, well, yes, no one's here to tell me no, so I'm going to do it. And in some cases, that can be very useful, especially if it's like you're trying to conquer a fear, or you're trying to try something new, stepping out of your comfort zone. Of course, that would be a great situation to put those steps, I guess you could say, into practice. But in this particular situation, I needed a change. I needed a change for the better, to better myself. I wasn't really so much worried about what other people were seeing, because I am who I am, and as a human being, we just go through changes. Our bodies fluctuate. That's going to be how they are till the end of time. So I really wasn't worried so much about what people were seeing. I was worried about what I was seeing myself, because when I look in the mirror and I look at myself in my mind, I want to see this this handsome man who's in good shape, who looks good in his clothes, who just feels comfortable in his skin. But that's not, A, what I was seeing, and B, that's not what I was feeling. So for me, there had to be a drastic change. I was 325 pounds at my biggest. And it made me feel horrible. I felt like I looked horrible. And of course, how you view yourself is usually how other people will view you, but they'll also see that you don't have confidence in yourself. And so, they might be hesitant to bring things to light that probably should be brought to light more often, which is, hey, you're a little overweight. And I took a BMI test, a body mass index test on the internet, and it said I was, what was it? Morbidly obese, which I laughed, because I'm not one to let things really get me down for too long, just because a lot of things in this life can be fixed if we just apply ourselves to it. So I laughed, but it really triggered something in my mind that I got to fix this. That's the last thing I want to be classified as. Like, if I were to, trip and fall and, snap my neck off a sidewalk, I don't want them to remember me as, that funny, morbidly obese guy. That's not how I want to be remembered. So for me, sorry, that was a little morbid, but hey, that's my humor. So for me, I had to start telling myself no. I wasn't even in the gym yet. It didn't even start there. It started with me learning to tell myself no. When I went to go pick up a thing of Reese's Pieces or Kit Kat bar, or my love at the time, especially when I was 13, was a big old tub of Snickers ice cream. I would literally have my mom go to the store when she went grocery shopping to pick me up a thing of Snickers ice cream, and then when they came up with Twix, it was over. So I would eat it all in one sitting. This wouldn't be like, oh, I'll stretch it out for a week, make sure it lasts. No, I ate it right then and there. Pain, didn't care. Negative thoughts, didn't care. Negative feelings, didn't care. Mom telling me, hey, maybe you shouldn't, eat so much, didn't care. Stepfather, didn't care. I didn't care about anything. I was eating. I was in emotional, transcendental bliss at that particular moment in time. And so for me, I had to cut that out, and that wasn't easy. But I think for me, I love a good challenge. I love it when somebody tells me I can't do something. And that really it just gets me in the mood of change. It gets me in the mood of, okay, fix it because somebody said you can't. And I like not only proving people wrong, but usually when people say something towards you, your mind will either justify it or reject it. So my mind was justifying, going, well, you've always been big, so you're always going to be big. So maybe you really can't change the fact that you're big. My whole family, we're heavy set people, we're stocky people. And so, my mind was just like, well, it's never going to change. So I guess I'll just do what I do. And so when that person told me, you're always going to be fat, just accept it, learn to live with yourself and this and that. And that didn't sit well with me because it doesn't make sense to be in a position where you have the ability and the environment to change yourself for the better, and then you just simply don't. That to me doesn't make sense. It's just sit back and accept it. And it's like, oh, I have all these tools around me, and I know I need to build this boat, but I'm not going to build a boat. I'm going to build a sauna because I just really want to relax. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. If you were put there and given the necessary tools to build a boat, you build a boat. So for me, I was given the tools already to fix myself. I'm alive, I'm breathing, I have a strong mind, I have a strong will, and I have an attitude. So as far as I'm concerned, that was my foundation for the change. And then of course, other things came from that, but I needed that foundation. Can I myself personally push myself to do this so I can see that I can be better? So I did. I started portioning out my food. I started doing things the hard way. And a lot of people hate doing that, and they will fight you tooth and nail. If there's a convenient way of doing something and you choose to do it the hard way, they hate it. And I don't know why, because it's actually kind of funny. And so I'll elaborate really quickly on what I mean. If I am sitting in my living room and for some reason the remote to my TV is across from me in the dining room, and I need to get up and either adjust the volume or what have you. I need the remote for some reason. Now, granted, there is somebody else also living with me. So instead of me asking the person to go get the remote because they might be closer to it, as we all like to use sometimes, instead of me asking them to go get it, I can do one of two things. I can either A, stand up physically, walk over and get the remote, which would in essence burn even the most minuscule, it'll burn calories, it'll burn weight. It also pushes you as a human being to physically get in there and do stuff you don't want to do, because sometimes just because you don't want to do it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for you. So in this situation, you can either get up and go get the remote, good call, or you can get up and physically walk over to the TV and that thing we don't like to do, which is learn how our TVs work with buttons, and you can navigate your own TV set with the buttons. The fact of the matter is you get up and you do something about it. You don't wait for somebody else to do it, and you don't wait for somebody else to help you. If you can help yourself, if you are in a position to where you are of full sound mind, your body works in the way it was designed to work for you, and you have the environmental awareness that there are things you can do to change yourself, you should always do it. Learn something new, do something new, have something new, try something new. New is what life is all about, because if you don't ever do anything new, life gets stagnant and boring. And that's just never fun. So I started having to implement this new way of thinking into the core of my daily routine. It was, okay, I see a lady going for the door. Well, she's like 6 to 10 feet away. Okay, so I'm going to hop, skip, and jump to get to that door, as opposed to just sitting there, letting her get it herself and go, oh, well, I'm glad she got the door. It's not like that. If I see something on the floor, even if I didn't put it there, I'm going to physically bend over and make the effort to pick it up, because now I'm getting my body used to making the effort. And that's all you got to do. You just got to make the initial effort, and then you got to make it a routine. You got to make it a habit, build it into your foundation. So it was, okay, well, I know I could use a dolly to lift this heavy box. and, that would be great for my back. And, if I read the instructions, it says for heavy objects. Or if I know I am physically strong enough to lift this box on my own, I'm just going to apply the necessary strength to lift the box on my own. That makes me stronger, that makes me better, and that makes me more willing to do the work that other people aren't willing to do. That sets you apart. So I had to rework my thinking of, okay, just because I can doesn't mean I should. And if I'm not going to do it, I need to see some type of reward or some type of change that proves to me that I'm doing it right. And of course I did. Progressively, I lost about 20 to 30 pounds just on that, on, walking more. So if I took my car to the shop to get it worked on and get an oil change, I would walk home, which was not very short. That was probably about, an hour and a half to 2 hour walk home, but it made me better, So for me, it was, okay, how can I make these changes more drastic and more to my liking? Because while losing weight was obviously the goal, I wanted to see, okay, well, I have all this strength, but now I want to see my strength. I want to see my power. I want to see all of this hard work I've been doing. I want to see my changes. So that's when I started going to the gym, and that was adding on to the foundation I had already started way back when. A lot of times we're too extreme when we want to change something in our lives, and we don't realize really the most subtlest of changes on a daily basis, on a repetitional basis, will actually get you in line to where you're trying to go, as far as if you're trying to do something new. For me, I wanted to shape my body. I wanted to look on the outside how I felt and looked in my brain on the inside. So I needed to push myself to get there, but it wasn't just going to start with me just throwing myself into the deep end. No, like everything else, you ease into it. You prepare your mind and your body to go through this transformation. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it sucks. No, it's not fun, but it's worth it, because at the end of the day, after all this time has passed, for me, it's been about 5 years, and the way I look and feel now, I feel even better than I felt before, because it was just like I just felt young, but my body didn't act young. But now I feel young, and my body can keep up with these things and these feelings I have in my mind. I'm like, okay, I want to go climb a mountain, which we are going to do later on down the road. I'm taking you up my mountain. Just keep that in mind. But if I want to climb a mountain, I can climb a mountain. If I want to jump off of a 2-story high cliff into a large body of water, I'm going to do it, because now I feel that I can actually have the ability to do these things. I can work out with my friends. I can play football and keep up. I can hang out with my youth. I'm a part of a youth group. And I can hang out with these younger kids who, think as soon as you're 18, beyond 18 years old, that you're just going to die. So it was nice, because it was like, yes, this is what I wanted. This is what I needed. But it started from the beginning. It started with me telling myself, no, I will not eat that. No, I will not order a large pizza and eat it all in one sitting. No, I will not go to Sonic, order an extra large, extra thick malt shake and eat it in one sitting. No, I will not go to Roberto's, and I will not buy their biggest, most delicious burrito and eat it in one sitting. No, I cannot do that. That is not what I need right now. This is not bettering me as a person. This is not bettering me as a human being. I don't like myself. So therefore, we need to change. And it starts with no. You stop yourself from doing those things that can hurt you. You never stop yourself from doing things that can help you. And I think today we've kind of lost that to some degree. You should always be striving to do things that better you, because when you better yourself, that betters your interaction with others, that betters them, even if it doesn't, like I said before, even if you never see the outcome, it's bettering yourself to live in a better world. So if we all strive to better ourselves, we don't have to worry about someone else coming in and saying, well, I'm better than you. Well, you might be, but I know if I put in the hard work and I put in the hours such as you have, I can be just as strong, if not stronger than you. It starts with you stopping the bad in your life. Take as much control as you can I know no one has 100% control over everything, but the one thing you will always have control over is yourself. Your mind is your perfect tool. Use it, sharpen it, strengthen it. Your body is the extension of your mind because your mind cannot do anything all of its own. So your body is the extension of your mind. If you have a strong mind, it needs to be backed by a strong body. And that way, you yourself, I'm not talking about what other people think or see of you, you yourself will develop a respect and a love for yourself because you put in hard work. You now have pride in this hard work. You see yourself as a beautiful creation of your own fruition as opposed to a byproduct of a lot of man-made concoctions that we call food and a lot of chemical abuse that we call food. And as opposed to just letting your body do with it what it was, you are now in control. You take control. You do it, but it starts with you stopping those things that are counteracting the beneficial positives in your life. The power of no. The power of no. Right now, you may feel like you want to do something that is not good for you. No, don't do it. You want to smoke a cigarette? No. You want to smoke some weed? No. You want to smoke some crack? No. You want to do these things? No. You want to go get drunk and drive a car? No. You know why? Because it's not good for you. So you have to tell yourself, no, I'm not going to do that. People are trying to pressure you into doing something you know you shouldn't do. No. Take a stand for yourself. Even if your mind is trying to convince you that this is good and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is bad, you tell yourself, no, I will not do that. I will be a better me. I will be the best me that ever existed on this planet, and the whole world will be a better place for it. So yes, feel free to tell yourself no. As a matter of fact, I dare you to tell yourself no. Find any situation in your life right now that can be changed. And I mean small. I'm not talking about anything big. Small. Next time you go to the store, next time you go to get something to eat, next time you go to decide something to watch, if it's something that is not conducive of positivity and greatness in your life, then you only have one answer. You're looking at it, you're hearing it. It's no. So my fellow Phoenix Feathers, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you taking the time to just hear me ramble about, because this is what I like to do. I like to talk. I'm a talker, and I love talking to people. So I hope you have a beautiful day. I will be coming out with another video as soon as I can, now that I'm about 80% over this sickness. I'll have try and get a cooler backdrop for you. I just want to keep it simple. I haven't had a really lot of time to think about stuff. Like I said, I've been sick, and I still have to work. Previous had a birthday, yay me. And so it's just been kind of a hectic week, and I loved it. It was a beautiful, positive week. But yet again, here I am. I'm going to love on y'all, and I hope y'all love on me. I'm about to head to the gym because it's been about a week since I got into the gym, since pretty much the last video I shot. So I'm going to go make myself feel better. You know why? Because I told myself I'm not going to waste my whole day doing nothing just because I don't feel great. I'm good. I'm good now. If I can go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym. And you know why that started? Because I told myself, no, I was not going to be lazy. I love y'all. I will see y'all in the next video. We're going to be trying some new things. I'm going to try and get some interviews with some people in just so we can have some variety. And just stick with me on this weird roller coaster we call life. I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you. Bye.